Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Pierre and this is Simple Homebrew. I'm doing a wort kit today by 8 Stacks Brewing. It's a pale ale. It's 20 kilos or 20 litres. Oh, jeez. Looks like a good one though. The idea is that we put the wort into the fermenter, chuck the yeast in and wait for it to cook. How good's that? So easy. Well, I'd like to first start this with saying thank you to Damian from 8 Stacks Brewing Co. Damian approached me online through Facebook and asked me if I would like to brew one of his brews. So he pretty much gave me the pale ale with some hops. That's going to be a day 6 hop edition and some yeast. So it's USA 5, so it's pretty standard. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is grab my fermenter, which is already clean and sanitized. I'll pop it down on the floor so you guys can see it. My fermenter is just sitting here on the floor. It is actually a tad higher than our bench. So the problem I'm going to have is actually filling it from my bench. I'll have to prop up the bottle. But for starters, first, I'll have to tip out my sanitizer that's in the fermenter. Now, this is a pressure fermenter. It's what I use for pressure fermenting. The sanitizer will be poured into my bottle here. I need my funnel. Like always, I forgot something. So the beauty of this system is it's a 20 litre wort kit. You don't have to add water to it. So what they made is fermentable, the whole thing. I guess it's made for speed, cleanliness. It's going to be much cleaner as a brew. And hopefully exactly how they intended it to taste. So I'll just tip out my sanitizer, which like I've said in the past, in my past videos, if you haven't seen them, you should be sanitizing every single thing you work with, which is what I do all the time. This Fermzilla has been sanitized, clean, and I've used it for years. And you know, someone asked me just recently, how do I go about cleaning my seals and my valve and everything else in my Fermentasaurus? And I have to say, I haven't really cleaned it. It stays pretty clean. You're working on surfaces that are already sanitized. So you may have heard the saying before, don't fear the foam. Now, this sanitizer is acid based. It's food grade acid basically. It's diluted so much. It's diluted to, what is it, 15 mil to 10 litres of water. It's such a minute amount, and it will actually kill any bacteria that might have been in your water as well as in the actual fermenter. So that's why I say don't fear the foam. It's only foam. It's only a result from sanitizing. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'll do a bit of a zoom up when I'm ready. There's a little tag here, and this little tag has to come off first. So if you try to undo that without breaking this off, you know it won't come off. So what I'll do now, with a bit of a rusty old cutters, I'll just lift this tag off, just to help open it. That'll make it so much easier to open. I will get the other camera and I'll give you a peek inside. Right, so grab lid, you watch your air go in, ready? Look at that. I'll open up, have a look at that, hey? There's our wort, produced by none other than these guys. You probably can't see that. 8 Stacks Brewing. Looks really nice. I'll have a smell. Oh, very rich smell. Hopefully it'll translate into a nice brew. So what we have now, what they did is kindly gave us a little cap. It has a dual in and out. So you have your breather port and your pouring port. The good thing about it, it'll pour nice and evenly and quickly just by opening the valve rather than hear it going blub, 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 which it normally does. Anyway, I'll give this a bit of a sanitize, give it a good clean out, and then we'll screw it on and we'll give it a go. Okay, so hopefully you can see there. I'll just pop this on here. It's been sanitized. We're trying to move quick so we don't get stuck with any bacteria seeping into our wort. I have to make sure that that valve is closed, which I can't tell. How do you tell whether it's open and closed? Ah, that's open. Okay, that's closed. It's a great little invention. Wow. So what you can see now is I have my fermenter here, which is fully sanitized. It is a bit higher than my bench where this is going to sit on, so I'm going to have to raise this when I tip it in. So I'm going to need something to sit it on so that it's high enough to actually pour my wort. So we'll just tip this up, make sure nothing's coming out. Nothing's coming out, that's good. Put that over there. Ladies. Oh, it is coming out now, just check that. What the? Okay, shouldn't pour out now. No, bloody Nora. You wouldn't believe it. And it's leaking out of there. Oh my God. Anything else today? This doesn't really work all that good, does it? Okay. Here's the problems we're going to get. And hopefully you guys will see it and you'll go around and you'll see what I have problems with and you can work with that. Obviously the lid didn't seal. So, nope. Okay, the lid doesn't really fit properly. This is a bad solution to a problem. Right. Okay, it's been good of them to provide a lid, but this lip here hits that ledge. So it's no good, doesn't do the job. So tasty. Made a bit of a mess, but it's a learning curve. So we're going to do it the hard way. Stay there. I have to pour it. Need some cloth. Okay. I'm glad that happened because now I know it's not going to work, and I'm pretty sure that the guys from 8 Stacks are going to have something to laugh about when they see this video. Now it's fairly wet, heavy. What I'll do, obviously, I think I'll just give this a bit of a topsy-turvy, just to mix the wort through first. Now I need my funnel, which is that baby. Try and speed things up a bit. The idea was there, but it wasn't a good idea, sorry to say. I'm right-handed. So here we go, guys. So while doing this, I'm actually aerating the brew. Well, there's a problem already. It's dripping, it's leaking. Issue after issue. Let's try some other trick. Try it this way, if I can hold it. There we go. looking good. I can use that bottle for other things. Alright, as you can see, the water's been poured. I have a bit of a mess down the bottom here from all the dripping and the spilling I did. I probably lost 300 grams of wort, but that's alright. What do you do? So this pourer was supposed to fit the lid of the wort bottle, but the problem I have, I don't know if you can see this, it stops right there. So it actually, there's a lip right here that's in the way of the lid, so it's not appropriate, not right for this system, which I'm sure will bring that to their attention, and hopefully there'll be something a bit better than this later on. So we should have now 20 litres at least, or at most, and my reading here says 19.5 litres of wort, which is good enough for me. So now I'm going to pitch the yeast. The temperature will be low because it's like 5 degrees outside at the moment. It's pretty cold. And where's my temperature gauge? There. So the temperature gauge itself says 14 degrees Celsius. So it's very low. So I might have to actually warm this up before pitching my yeast. Okay. Actually, it doesn't matter. It just won't take off for a couple of days. At least it's not too hot. If it was too hot, then it would be a problem. I'll give you a look at the wort itself in the bottle. There you go. So it's really sort of cloudy-ish. IPA. It's about 20 or 19 litres, including the bowl. So yeah. So that is enough to fill a keg, which is awesome. Probably get a little bit less than I need for a keg anyway, but still. So we've got US-05. We're going to pitch this. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's cold. I can warm this up and activate and have the yeast activate and start working. The quicker the yeast activates, the better, really. But if I can keep this from getting any bacteria in it, I will be right. Up until the yeast starts taking over. Again, I'm pressure fermenting. So now I'll grab a pack of US-05 yeast that was provided by Damian from Stacks Brewing. Quickly sanitize it. Just put a bit of sanitizer on it just to carry it over, just so I don't carry it over. Open her up, have a look. We all know what yeast looks like. And we'll just pitch our yeast. Straight in. Now I don't activate my yeast. I was, and I got worried about all the hype saying that you have to activate your yeast and you have to rehydrate it, but I have never seen at all any issues with not hydrating my yeast. So I'm happy to keep doing it like this until I have a problem of type, of any kind. So what I got in this bottle is sanitizer. I haven't marked it, but I know it's a sanitizer one because the other one says cleaner. So now I pitch my yeast, my lid is sealed, and all I need to do now is put a little bit of gas in it to check the pressure and make sure there's no leaks, which can go in the non-outline. Now I want to pressurize it to about 15 pounds. So I'll do that now. I want to make sure this. Now, I think we've got a leak. No, we haven't. And this is why we do this. Okay. So from you guys, I'll show you what happened. So what I saw, guys, was wort dripping from the bottle onto the, protect the jacket. And that way, that made me realise it was leaking. So luckily, I saw it now after being under pressure. So now we have no leaks, as you can tell. And we are at about 15 pounds PSI. So what I do is I leave that now at 15 PSI and put a spunding valve on. So the spunding valve will be set at 15 PSI as well. So once I put it on, it should let anything above 15 PSI out. That way it stays at 15 PSI while it's fermenting, and it stays like that up until it's finished fermenting. So we'll leave that to ferment for at least 2 weeks, or maybe longer, depending on the temperature. I do have a belt to keep it warm, which I'll use. Just mopping up the excess wort that dripped out the bottom. So after 6 days or so, when the fermentation has slowed down, which would be maybe 8 days, maybe more, I'm going to add some hops. Now in this pack are 40 grams of Simcoe and 30 grams of Amarillo. And that'll add to the flavouring of this pale ale that we're doing. So hopefully it'll come out. So see you in a few days. So guys, now I'm actually transferring the beer into a keg. So I'll show you how I did that. So I haven't got it. So I haven't got a microphone on today. I'm just in a hurry to get this done. You should still be able to hear me, I hope, and I hope you do too. So what I need to do is take the beer out of this and transfer it into here. But I do need a breather to come out this side. So what I'll do. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a controllable breather on. All I'll do is put this out into a container of such, so I'll just splatter into it and feed it in. So when the beer comes to the top and it's full, it should come out here as a brew. There's a bloody earwig in there. Bloody earwigs, getting in everything. So now I'll grab my outlet pipe. This has been sanitized and cleaned. I'll spray it down, so we'll pull that down again. So I'll spray this down with sanitizer. I'll spray this with sanitizer. Now we're not going to need our pressure valve anymore, because we're going to need to put gas in this eventually. So right now we have a little bit of sanitizer in it, which will come out anyway. This will start transferring as soon as I put it on. Just like that. There it goes. So what will happen is, at the moment, I can control the pressure with this blow tie valve, basically by turning the knob, and even nothing's coming out at the moment because there's no pressure. So if I open her up a little, there's pressure coming out, so it's going to allow the beer to start travelling through. So we've got one keg full of 8 Stacks Pale Ale beer. I'll let this age in the fridge and cool down for a couple of days, actually until the end of this month, and I'll do a taste test on my live stream. Okay guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for hanging around for this video. See you in the next one.